Hey everybody, so today I have for you a C-section postpartum recovery kit. I'm super excited about this video. I looked for something like this when I had my first C-section and couldn't find anything. And now that I'm about to have my second C-section, I wanted to show you guys what I've put together. So like I mentioned, I have had a C-section before with my daughter Sophie. This time I'm having another scheduled C-section with my daughter Remy, and it's a couple weeks away, but these are things that I will have either at home, bring to the hospital. I'll specify what's what, but yeah, so these are things that I feel like are definite must-haves if you're having a C-section or may have had an emergency C-section, and they just make recovery 1,000 times easier. So the first thing I want to mention is that I have quite a few smaller things, and it really helped to keep them all in a bag for me. This bag I got from the hospital. I think it came with like samples of formula or something like that, but I didn't go out and buy a special bag or anything. I just grabbed a bag that I had, and I carried this with me everywhere. So when I went from the bedroom to the living room, wherever it may be, so you don't have to constantly get up and constantly keep track of a whole bunch of different stuff. So definitely recommend throwing everything in a bag, and I do, like I said, have a lot of the little stuff in here. I do also have extra things in here. This is just great, period. I feel like when you're in that newborn stage and you have stuff for yourself, stuff for the baby, whatever it may be, I just loved having this little bag that I could take with me from room to room. It had stuff like lanolin and breast pads and other things like that, mittens for the baby. Super helpful. No, but the first thing that I want to talk about is this. This is just a little spray bottle with hydrogen peroxide and water. Use whatever your doctor is telling you to clean your C-section scar with. I had staples, and this is what my doctor wanted me to clean it with. It's just a 50-50 ratio of, like I said, water and hydrogen peroxide. And this is just one of those travel spray containers that we just happen to have at home. And I filled this up and I throw it in this bag. That way Mark and I both know where it is, and that way it was always in one spot. Definitely liked keeping this on hand. And then to go along with that is some gauze pads. These are just, obviously you can see they're just the little sheets, which is all you need when you're cleaning that wound. You know, you're not going to be doing anything like crazy or anything, but it was just nice to also keep the gauze with the cleaning solution. One thing I don't have to show you just because I have it packed away in my hospital bag, but it is yoga pants. Yoga pants are amazing if you have a C-section. Number one, they're stretchy. Number two, yoga pants are just amazing, period. I mean, just in life in general, yoga pants are amazing. But also number three, you can fold up the flap so it goes over your stomach and it's not necessarily resting right on your scar or even just around it. You know, I normally wear yoga pants, you know, with the flap down, but after my C-section, I noticed it just kind of sat there, and I don't know what it was. It just kind of felt uncomfortable some days more than others. So I just pulled the flap up, and that way I had pants on. They were comfortable, but they didn't sit on my scar either. And it was just amazing. So I'm taking those to the hospital to go home in, but those are super, super helpful. So another thing that I don't have to show you guys, just because I threw my old one away because I will be getting a new one, is a belly band. My hospital supplied it to me. It wasn't anything special. It was just like a giant band of Velcro, and it helped a ton. The one thing that I heard over and over again with C-sections is that when you stand up, you might feel like, you know, your scar's gonna come open, or like your guts might fall out or something like that. And I definitely did feel like that a few times, but it was only when I didn't have my belly band on. Any other time, I didn't have a problem. It just made me feel more secure and things like that, and I just absolutely loved it. So if your hospital doesn't supply one, I would definitely look into it, because it just made me feel better like 10 times over. And I feel like it really helped get my stomach pushed down faster. I don't know, that might have been all in my head or whatever, but I wore that thing for like 6 weeks straight and I loved it. The next thing is a water bottle. I've talked about this water bottle many a times on my channel, but this is the Contigo Addison 32-ounce water bottle. I absolutely love it. I love that it holds a ton of water. I'm going to take this to the hospital with me because it holds so much water, but it's also great so you're not constantly going into the kitchen and refilling up water bottles or anything like that. You know, this lasts me like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours if I'm really not drinking a bunch, but it does last me a lot longer than most water bottles. So I would definitely recommend that. just because hydration is important, period. But I feel like after a C-section, I was very thirsty, and I also didn't want to get up a bunch of times. So definitely recommend a water bottle. I don't have the next thing either, but it's pain medication. Obviously, I would throw that in this bag. Oh, yes. Whatever you may be using, whether you go holistic or prescription medication, whatever you're going to be using, definitely keep that on hand. And to go with that, I do recommend keeping, where's the other thing? Oh, there it is. Definitely recommend keeping a Post-it, notepad, whatever, and some pens with you in this bag so you can keep track of when you're taking your medication, when you need to take it again, things like that. It definitely helped me out. And it was also kind of helpful to keep baby's schedule too. I would keep track of her schedule and my schedule, things like that, so I knew it was going on. One thing I do have, but I'm not going to show you, is some granny panties. Now, I feel like whether you go with boxers, like men's boxers, or these granny panties, just oversized underwear, go with them. They're amazing. Didn't really understand why people talk so highly of them in all kinds of different postpartum videos, but I definitely understand now. They're just very, very comfortable. They're not going to sit on your scar. They're not going to cause any trouble. And it's just, they're so comfortable. So definitely get yourself some oversized underwear. To go along with the oversized panties, I would definitely recommend some pads, obviously. These are just the extra heavy overnight ones. And I got these just to come home to. I will have plenty in the hospital that they supply to you, and I'll even probably take some home from the hospital as well, but I just wanted to have some on hand for when I finally do run out of those. But, you know, it's just part of postpartum. Gotta have those. One of my other really big favorites during my recovery was a breastfeeding pillow. This is not the one that I used with Sophie. I used the Boppy. This is the, I think, Mambo by Comfort and Harmony. This one is the one I'm going to use with Remy. It's a little more stiff. It's also a larger pillow than the Boppy is. I mean, like, height-wise, like it's thicker. I don't know, whatever you want to call that. But I had the Boppy with Sophie, and it just helped tremendously when I was in recovery, trying to hold her and nurse her and things like that. Even just like a week after my C-section, holding her was kind of hard on my stomach and on my scar, so that really helped. Even if I was holding her, feeding her a bottle, whatever it may have been, it was just really nice to have that extra support underneath you. Of course, I leave like probably the most like gross thing for last, but the last couple things I have are some stool softener. I mean, let's just get real. But honestly, I had not heard much about this when I was looking into C-sections and stuff, but this was my biggest issue in postpartum, and it just wasn't fun. It's uncomfortable, especially when you have that scar and you hate pushing because it just makes your scar feel weird. So, you know, stool softener is going to be like my best friend this time around. They gave me one in the hospital and it made me feel a lot better. And I went home and for some reason I never got myself some. And it was just miserable. And then depending on how that goes or your experience with that, whatever, some Tux medicated cooling pads, I think is what they're called, for hemorrhoids. Those are amazing if you do end up getting hemorrhoids. I mean, I got them even with having a C-section. I didn't push or anything, but I still got them, you know, from what I just showed you. I mean, come on, put two and two together. I don't really want to spell things out because I don't want to gross anybody out, but just being real, I did have trouble going, and then that led to the hemorrhoids, and it's just really uncomfortable. So the Tux pads are amazing if you are having that issue. Loved them. They're just very nice, but I did not get them because I'm hoping that this time around I can avoid them, but if not, I will be picking those up. But that is everything that I have in my C-section postpartum recovery kit. I hope this was super helpful for you guys. If you do have a scheduled C-section and you're kind of worried about it or anything like that, try not to stress too much. You're gonna do awesome. Just try to keep in mind that beautiful baby that you're gonna be seeing. And if you had an emergency C-section or anything like that, or it's already passed, great job, mama. You're doing awesome. Hope you're feeling good. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks for watching.